Hi, welcome. I know this is not what we typically do. If you've been here before to Temple Beth Shalom for family service on Rosh Hashanah, then you know that you don't usually watch it on a video. Usually you're here with us and we're together and we're singing and we are telling stories and having a good time. And we're going to still do a lot of those things. We're going to still tell stories and sing songs and have a good time. But you're going to have to watch it on this video. And trust me, I wish you were here. It just doesn't feel right to not have you here. I mean, believe it or not, it feels so empty in here to not be with you. But I know we'll be back together soon. I just know it. But welcome, Shana Tova. That means Happy New Year. This is Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year, when we have our new year, when we celebrate the fact that we're starting all over again. The whole year is starting all over again. And our services are not like a typical Shabbat service. We add special things, special tunes. We add special prayers. And so some things are going to be a little different than a typical Shabbat service, but you know that already. You've probably been here before. You've probably been part of our Rosh Hashanah or our Yom Kippur family service. So this is all going to be really familiar to you. So, Shana Tova, and let's begin.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam. Bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana 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 Tova, Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana 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 Tova. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Oh my God, do I have a great story to tell you. And this is an important story too. I don't want you to think that it doesn't matter, these stories. This is a true story and really important. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a man named Beryl. Now, Beryl had a wife, and he had 4 children, and he was a farmer. And he had a house. Now, his house was not the biggest house in the world. It was big, but he had 4 children and a wife, and with him there were 6 people, and so sometimes it would get a little crowded in the house. You know, like sometimes 2 people needed to use the bathroom at once, and one person had to just wait. Sometimes people were walking, one person was walking this way, and the other person was walking this way, and they would bump into each other, and they would say, "Hey, why don't you watch out where you're going?" Well, Beryl started to get a little frustrated because he felt like his house wasn't big enough for his whole family. And so he went to the rabbi. Now, he went to the rabbi this time, and he said, "Hello, Rabbi, I have a question for you." And the rabbi said, "Yes, what can I do to help you, Beryl?" And Beryl said, "Rabbi, what should I do if my house is not big enough for me and my family?" And the rabbi said, that's a good question. I got it. And the rabbi said, "Beryl, you're a farmer, right?" "Yeah." Beryl said, he goes, "Do you have animals on your farm?" He goes, "Of course I've got animals. I'm a farmer, I got lots of animals on my farm." And the rabbi said to him, "Do you have any cows?" And the rabbi said, and Beryl said, "Yeah, I've got cows. I've got lots of cows." And the rabbi said, I want you to take 2 of your cows, 2, and I want you to bring them inside the house. And Beryl said, what are you, crazy? I'm not putting 2 cows inside my house. And the rabbi said, you asked me for my advice? You want my help? Bring 2 of your cows into your house. Come back in next week and tell me how it goes. So Beryl went back to his house, went outside to his barn, took 2 cows, brought them into his house. And those cows lived in his house. It didn't smell good in that house. There was lots of cow, on the ground. People had to watch where they were walking because they were always stepping in. My God, it stinks. And Beryl was like, this isn't helping anything. And Beryl went back to the rabbi and was going to tell the rabbi that the rabbi was crazy and nothing had worked. So he went back to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, I tried it, didn't work. The rabbi said, you have not tried it. Beryl, do you have any chickens on your farm? And Beryl said, of course I've got chickens. I'm a farmer. Rabbi said, all right, Beryl, I want you to do this. I want you to go out and I want you to bring 10 chickens into your house. Beryl's like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? The rabbi said, you asked me for my advice. Go to the barn, get the chickens, bring them in the house. So, Beryl went out to his barn. It was hard to catch these chickens, by the way, because these chickens run fast and you have to run after them. And they're like, and you're like, I gotta get the chickens. So Beryl grabbed 10 chickens, brought them into the house with the 2 cows, by the way. The cows were moo, 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 and the chickens, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, people in the house now are like having to be careful not to bump into any chickens. Of course, don't bump into any cows, and really be careful not to step in any of the stuff that the cows left on the ground. So now Beryl, for a week, was in his house with his wife, his 4 children, 2 cows, 10 chickens, all in his house. It was a madhouse in there. It was crazy. Things were going nutso. Well, Beryl, after a week, marched himself back over to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, you don't know what you're talking about. I brought in the 10 chickens along with the 2 cows. It didn't change. Thought I was going to make a bigger house because of adding animals into it. Are you crazy? The rabbi said, listen to me. Just listen to me. And Beryl said, what? He said, I want you to take 4 goats. 4 goats? I'm not taking 4 goats and bringing them into my house. The rabbi said, listen to me. Put 4 goats into your house. And Beryl said, I can't do it. There's no room left in my house. I came to you to get more room. All you've done is make it impossible. Rabbi said, do it, Beryl. Come back in a week. So Beryl, he was mad. He went to his barn and he got 4 goats. And now he had animals in his house going, blah, blah, blah. And then, and then you had the cow poop on the ground, people stepping and sliding around in cow poop. And basically, the kids, Beryl's 4 children, never left their rooms because it was too crazy. Beryl's wife was so angry with Beryl for this craziness that he had brought. And Beryl, too, felt kind of foolish for having listened to the rabbi all along. But for a week, and this was 3 weeks with the cows, 2 weeks for the 10 chickens, and now a week with the goats. And there was not an inch of room in the house. You couldn't breathe, and it stunk. Ugh. Look, you had to walk around like this the whole time because it stunk. And Beryl was absolutely, this time he went back and he said, you know what? I'm never listening to this rabbi ever again. And he went back to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, you are crazy, you have lost your mind. I don't know how you can call yourself a rabbi. You say you're all smart and all, but the fact is that I said I needed more room in my house, and all you did was make it so crowded with things and animals that it stinks, and there's no room for anything. I don't even have a place to put my toothbrush. And the rabbi said, aha. Here's what you do, Beryl. And Beryl said, I'm not listening to you. You're going to tell me to go put like my sheep in there or something. I'm not doing it. Doesn't matter what you say. I'm not. The rabbi said, listen to me. And Beryl was like, I'm not listening to you and I'm not doing it. And the rabbi said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to your house. And I want you to take all the animals out of your house. And I want you to clean your house. And Beryl said, finally, some good advice. And so Beryl went back to his house. And he took out those goats. And he took out the 10 chickens. And he took out the 2 cows. And because he was responsible for all of it, no one else had to clean it up. He cleaned everything in the house because he was responsible, right? If you make a mess, you should be the one cleaning it. Don't make someone else clean it, right? So it's your responsibility. If you spill, you clean it. Well, Beryl made the mess. He cleaned up. And when he was finished cleaning up and all the animals were out and he had his house back, all of a sudden he was like, my God, there's so much space in here. Look how much room there is. And he realized it could always be worse. But more importantly, you should be grateful for what you have. It's a true story.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Aneinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu maasim, Tzedaka v'chesed, Aseimanu tzedaka v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
Hi there. So I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to do so with illustrations. So here we go. This story is called How the Rosh Hashanah Challah Became Round. So the story goes like this. Joseph Mordechai was his name, but everyone called him Yossi. Yossi lived long ago in a little town far off across the sea. Yossi was the oldest of his 4 brothers and sisters, and he liked being the oldest, that was for sure. He told his brothers and his sisters, I'm the only one who's big enough to help Papa. Everyone else is just too small. See, that was boasting and bragging, and that's never a good idea, but that's what he did because he was the oldest and he thought that was the right thing to do. Well, Yossi's father was the baker for the little town that they lived in, and all the people came to his bakery to buy bread for their families. Now, Yossi was proud to be his father's helper. They would bake shiny little brown loaves of bread. They baked crusty, dark brown loaves of bread as well. They baked all sorts of different types of breads. But the day before the Sabbath or the day before the High Holy Days, that was always a special day. And in that bakery, and there weren't going to be any light brown loaves of bread, and there wasn't going to be any crusty, dark brown loaves. On that day, on Shabbat or on the High Holy Days, there was only one kind of bread. I think you know what it was. It was long, it was braided, golden on the outside, white on the inside. It was a challah. And trust me, challahs are delicious. Now, one special day began like every other day. Yossi and his father put on their sparkling white aprons. Into the tub went the flour. Thump, squeeze, squeeze, thump, thump, knead, squeeze, knead, thump. Yossi and his father, they kneaded the dough and squeezed the dough. Then, ever so neatly, Yossi's father, he would braid the dough. And you know how you braid? You do one, and then you put one over, and then another, and then another. And he would braid the dough into long challahs so that they were ready to go into the oven. That was what they did on this special day, like just about every other year that they did this. However, and so Yossi, what he would do was he picked up the pan with all of the braided loaves of bread, of challah, and he loaded this pan up with all the challahs, and he felt so important. He was the oldest. And he started down the stairs, singing a song, la, 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 Yossi, Yossi, son of a baker, Yossi, Yossi, he's the bread and challah maker, Yossi, thump, squeeze, knead the dough, he makes challah white as snow. I mean, it wasn't like it was a real song. He was just making up the song as he went along. But you see, Yossi was so pleased with his new song that he forgot to watch out for the bump on the top step. And you can see that bump. Thunk, bang, bump, bumpity, bump, bump, Yossi tripped. The pan slid out of his hands, and every single one of the Rosh Hashanah challahs rolled down the stairs. Can you believe it? Look at them all. They're all going to be disgusting and dirty, but more than that, you know what was going to happen? They weren't going to be as pretty as they were, nicely kneaded as they once were. Yossi, he couldn't say a word. Big, salty tears ran down his cheeks. He was so upset. He knew it was too late to make a new batch of challahs. Soon people would be coming to buy their challahs and there wouldn't be any. He had ruined everything, and it was all because he was careless. He was thoughtless, and he wasn't paying attention. He was singing his song, and he was bragging about being the oldest. And Yossi's father was upset too. He rushed to pick up the challahs. There was nothing to do but just dust them off and bake them. But what strange challahs they would be. They weren't going to be long and braided anymore. Now they were fat and round. That's not what the challahs of Shabbat and the holidays are supposed to be like. Well, as soon as the challahs were ready, the first person came to the bakery. And when she saw the fat, round challahs, her eyes opened up with surprise. Do you call that a Rosh Hashanah challah? She sniffed. Why, I never seen such a misshapen challah in all my days. And off she huffed with a fat, round challah in her shopping bag, not like the one she normally would have, which was long and thin and braided. The next person came, and the next person came, and the next person came. Every single one of them criticized the fat, round challahs. And as you can see, Yossi was crying. He was so sad because of what he had done. The rabbi's wife came too, She was surprised as all the others, but she saw Yossi's tear streak coming down his face. She knew he had been crying a lot, and she knew that what good was it going to be to criticize? And she said, "My, these challahs do look unusual, that's for sure, but I'm sure they will taste just as delicious as ever because I know where they're from." And so she took home 2 fat, round challahs and served those challahs to the rabbi for Rosh Hashanah. That's the rabbi. I'm the rabbi, that's the rabbi. Anyway, the rabbi looked at the challahs on the table. He picked up one. He said, "A challah that goes round and round, a challah with no end." He stroked his beard. "You know, my dear," he told his wife, "we hope that everyone will be happy in the coming year. We wish that their happiness would have no end." The rabbi and his wife dipped pieces of that challah in honey, and the rabbi took a bite, and he said, "A challah with no end seems just right for Rosh Hashanah. A special shape to suit a special day." Well, from that moment, the rabbi's wife told everyone what the rabbi had said. The people of the town were excited. How wise was that rabbi? Round and round, how special, no end, just like our hopes. What a wonderful idea. That became the new rule. That became the new tradition. Only Yossi didn't say a word. He couldn't help feeling proud, but he made a silent wish that he would be more modest in the coming year, and he would stop bragging. And that is the end of the story. What do you think? Do you think that that was a good idea, that he made a promise to himself not to brag anymore? Do you think that maybe you too have bragged before and maybe that's something that you don't want to do anymore? Well, hopefully we learn from our mistakes, and that's what it means to celebrate Rosh Hashanah, is to be bigger and to grow and to learn from our mistakes and not make them again. All right.
תפוחים ודבש לראש השנה, תפוחים ודבש לראש השנה, שנה טובה, שנה מתוקה, שנה טובה, שנה מתוקה, תפוחים ודבש לראש השנה.
Hi, I have a story to tell you. It's all about Rosh Hashanah, and it's all about this shofar. So, here's the story. Once upon a time, there was this girl, and she got a present from her parents, and that present was a shofar. That's right. This girl's name was Sarah. And Sarah was so happy when she got her present, which was a shofar. Now, Sarah said, "I've got a new shofar. I'm so excited. I'm going to have a great time with my new shofar." So she got out her shofar. She got ready to blow it. She took a huge breath. She went like that. This huge breath. And she went. Nothing. Barely little squeaks came out. Barely any sounds came out, and she was so sad. Do you know why? It's because she had this beautiful new shofar that was given to her as a gift from her parents, and Sarah, it was special for her, but she couldn't. Now, she said to her father, she said, Dad, she called him Abba. She said, Abba, I don't understand what the problem is. This is my shofar, but it's broken. It doesn't work. The father grabbed the shofar and said, let me check that. If it's broken, I'm going to bring it back to the store I got it from. Well, he took out the shofar and he went, that seems to work. Sarah said, oh, wait, give me that. She took it back. She got a few sounds out of it, but not much. She was really sad, but she was determined. She was going to learn how to blow the shofar. So she went to her friend's house. Now, her friend's name was Rebecca. And Rebecca said, sure, I can teach you how to blow the shofar. So she grabbed the shofar, and Rebecca said, this is how you do it. It's a hard one, she said. It's not so easy to blow the shofar, but I think you just keep practicing, and sooner or later you'll be able to blow the shofar. Well, so Sarah said, that's great, and she kept practicing every single night. She was getting a little bit better from her practices. But she wasn't perfect with it, and she was really sad because she wanted to really be the one who could blow her shofar better than anyone else. Well, she decided to go to an expert. She went to an expert. She went to a person who could teach her how to blow the shofar, who was an expert, and he was a professional musician. He played the trumpet. Well, the man said, sure, I can teach you how to blow the shofar. It's not exactly the same as a trumpet, but I'm sure it's all pretty close to the same. And the person who was really good with the trumpet. Well, he said, yeah, it's not as easy as a trumpet, but it still can play. The trick is you got to with your lips. And so she went, Sarah took it back, she went, well, she was getting better. The practicing was helping her. And the trumpet instructor really gave her some good ideas. But here is the thing. It didn't come out sounding perfect, and she wanted to be perfect. So you know what she did? She did what you should always do when you have really important questions to ask. She went to the rabbi. She went over to the rabbi's house. And the rabbi said, hello, young Sarah, how can I help you? The rabbi didn't look like me. He was older, much older. He also had more hair here on a beard and here on the head. The rabbi said, what seems to be the problem? As he was stroking his beard. And Sarah said, it's this shofar. I thought it was broken at first, but it seems to be okay. But my father can play it, my sister not. My friend Rebecca can't really play it, and I even brought it to a professional trumpet player, and he did it, but it wasn't so good. Can you help me and understand what I should be able to do so I can learn how to play the shofar? Well, the rabbi said, let me see if that shofar really is a good one or not. So the rabbi took the shofar and Rabbi said, looks like it's pretty good to me, works perfectly. Yep, works. Sarah said, I don't get it. How come I can't play the shofar and blow the shofar like you? It's mine. This belongs to me. It's not even your shofar, Rabbi. And the rabbi said to her, Sarah, here, let me explain something to you, and it's really important. And Sarah said, yes, what is it? And the rabbi said, you have to understand that the important part about the shofar is not being able to blow the shofar. The important part about the shofar is that you can hear the shofar. It's true. And that is the point of this story, because it doesn't matter if you can blow shofar or not. You don't need to know how to blow the shofar to be able to experience the shofar. All that matters is that you can hear the shofar. And what are those sounds? Well, you say, Tekiah, Shivarim, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah. And that is the story of the shofar.
I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Tekiah, Tekiah. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I'd like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Shevarim, Shevarim, Tekiah, Tekiah. I'd like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I'd like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Teruah, Teruah, Shevarim, Shevarim, Tekiah. I'd like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year.
So you just heard a song. We just sang the song, Tekiah, Shivarim, Teruah. Well, now we're going to do it for real with the shofar, okay? So you know the words, so I'll remind you, but this is how we're going to do the shofar. I'll tell you the word I want you to say, and then you repeat it back. And then when you repeat it back, I will blow the shofar. Are you ready? So the first call you need to say is Tekiah. So on three. 1, 2, 3. Tekiah. Very good. Next thing you need to say is Shivarim. 1, 2, 3. Shivarim. Now it's time for Teruah. Teruah. Now, let's do a fun one, which is Shivarim Teruah. Both words. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Shivarim Teruah. Now the last one, the big one. Here goes. Tekiah Gedolah. On three. 1, 2, 3. Tekiah Gedolah. Shana Tova, Happy New Year.
Shana Tova Tikatevu, Leshana Tova Tikatevu, Leshana Tova Tikatevu.